Today I'm taking a look at the VEVOR car polisher. Oh, that's interesting. This actually came with a pretty decent bag to keep everything organized. We got our instructions. Got a black pad, white pad, orange pad. And this comes with a big 4 amp hour battery. And it's fully charged, so that's nice. So there's a clip style lock, and each contact has 2 pinch points. So we also have a white wool pad. You got a big charger with LED indicators there on it. It does have screw holes, so we can mount this thing to the wall, and it outputs 4 amps at 21 volts. We also got what looks like a couple of microfiber cloths. That's interesting, so it actually has Velcro straps to keep it in the bag. So this is the polisher. So the black is all plastic and the orange is all rubber. So this has a very nice feel to it. Even a very solid feeling trigger. We got our speed selector. I really like that it's a nice fat knob on there as well. Everything about this really feels very nice. Even has a couple of rubber feet on there, so that way if you need to set this down, you have to set it on top of the polishing pad and get that dirty. Very cool idea. It looks like we got an Allen in here, and we can use that to change out this pad holder. So this is hook and loop style, and this looks like it's going to be good for 6-inch pads. So just drop it on there, and off we go. Okay, so that is very important. With a polisher, with any polisher I'm going to use on my vehicle, it needs to be a random orbit, and that's exactly what this does. So not only does it spin around, it also orbits. Very nice. The main reason that that's important is because what that does is instead of making a bunch of swirl marks across the surface, what this is actually going to do is every new cut is going to cut into a previous cut, and it's going to give you a very clean surface. So right now we're at about 2.5, and that is pretty darn quiet. Which is excellent, because if you're going to be using this thing all day, then you don't want this to be blasting your ears out. Yeah, even at level 6, that does not make a ton of noise. And especially if you're doing this outside and you want to worry about bothering your neighbors, that's going to be very important as well. So if you've never used one of these before, what this is essentially going to do is it's going to grind down the surface of the clear coat. So if you have a bunch of scratches and a bunch of those swirl marks, this is going to flatten out everything and make it look like it was brand new. You do need to use that with some cutting compound. I usually use Meguiar's, and you can see I got 2 different bottles here. So this is Ultra Cut and this is Ultra Finishing Polish. Each of those has its own pad. That's why you have the different colors here. So the orange is going to be for the rough cut. So this isn't going to give you that glossy finish that you're looking for. This is just going to be for getting all those scratches down to a point where they're going to be flat. Then when you want to get that mirror finish, you use the Ultra Fine Polish, use that with the black pad. If you want to use something in the middle, you can use the white pad for that. It does take a little while, but you can restore that paint job to make it look almost like it was brand new. One thing I did not notice before, but I did notice now, is it actually has a lock on it. So that way, if you want to use this thing for a long time, you don't have to wear out your hands. So that is always a nice feature to have. The wool pad is considered a very aggressive cut. So if you wanted to use that with the Ultra Cut compound, you could do a lot of work quickly. So if you had some really messed up paint, you might want to use that. And the flat pad is going to be more for something like a wax. So if you had some kind of a wax that required a lot of elbow work and you want to get it done quickly, you could use this for that. Now I don't have any cars that need polished right now, but I can always use a good waxing. So what I usually use for waxing is the synthetic sealant 2.0. Stuff works great and it looks great. So here I got a bicycle helmet, so this does not have a clear coat on it, so I'm just going to be waxing the paint itself. This does have kind of a flat paint job. I've always been curious what this would do to a flat paint job, so I'm going to find that out right now. So you want to start out with the pad on top. That way it's not going all over the place. And this is kind of a light object, so it's probably going to try to push it around, so I'm about to find out. Oh, look at that. So that actually shined that up quite a bit. So you can see down here it was a little bit more dull. Right there is a lot shinier. Now, of course, this has a lot of cracks in it, so I'll have to wipe that up. But the fact of the matter is that actually gave me a much nicer surface than I was expecting. So next thing I'm curious about, this glass has a bunch of scratches all over it. I know waxes have fillers in them, so I've always been curious if this would actually do anything to a glass tabletop. dispenser is not really, maybe a little bit, barely, but this stuff is designed for paint, not for glass. Something I did notice though is it does make it a heck of a lot smoother. So as I'm wiping right around here, everything, it just kind of glides. But as I move across, right to that edge, like right here, I can feel the difference. So, I mean, it's kind of interesting. I guess take it for what it is. But it does say on here, this is rated for 2300 to 3800 RPM. Really strong Velcro on here too. That's reassuring, so we don't have to worry about this thing falling off while we're working on the paint on the car. So yeah, that is a very nice polisher. I mean, with the big 4 amp hour battery with a brushless motor on it, so that'll make the battery last even longer, plus it's gonna have more power, plus it's not gonna produce that smoke smell that you sometimes get out of brushed motors. Really great feel, doesn't make a lot of noise. That is an awesome polisher. I'm very happy with that.